This is Sheriff Spotlight with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, highlighting the office and deputies dedicated to providing law enforcement services and maintaining the trust and support of Rockingham County citizens, all while keeping neighborhoods and communities safe.
Good morning, I'm Sheriff Sam Page, and we'd like to welcome everybody to the Sheriff Spotlight for June. And I have two special guests from Rockingham County government. I have Stephanie Kingston and I have Avis Gwynn. They work with our HR department. And you know, a lot of people that I run into out on the street, they say, where can I find a job? And I said, well, have you ever considered Rockingham County government?
Yes.
And so I'm going to kind of start off just a little bit about you guys before you got into HR. So kind of where your background is. So
Okay.
Avis, I'm going to start with you and say, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with HR in Rockingham. And then Stephanie, I want you to do the same thing here, okay?
All right.
And we appreciate you being here today. We really do.
sir.
Well, thank you.
And
for
we
having
hope
us.
that when we finish, that we'll have hundreds of people applying for jobs in Rockingham County.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Avis.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Avis Gwynn, and Sheriff Page, thank you for having us over this morning. I am actually originally from Rockingham County. I have been with Rockingham County government for about 6.5 years. I started with HR affiliation probably about 11, 12 years ago. And just enjoying what I do, just meeting new people, getting to help individuals with their job search and different things to that aspect. And it tends to spring over into just other relationships in employment. My purpose of being an HR analyst here with the county, again, like I said, I help with the recruitment process as well as once they are hired, we do performance measurements, evaluations, and we do other things that aid the employee in different leading over into benefits and different things that go along with HR and throughout their whole career. So I am always available for individuals to reach out to us for any job vacancies that we may have. We do have a county website, which I think we'll be listing on the screen, and a contact number as well. At this current time, we do have approximately 26 positions that are showing on our website. And they range anywhere from entry-level positions to positions that go up through the levels as high as directorship and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay, Kevin, they're not recruiting you, by the way. Okay, so you stay where you're at. Okay, Stephanie, how about a little bit about you? And
All
kinda
right.
What your role is in HR?
Okay. So I have been with the county since 2000. So I've basically grown up with all the folks here at Rockingham County government. I started out in the health department with the billing side of things and data processing and IT. Transferred over to the finance department and was with the finance department in various roles for about 15 years. And I've been with human resources since 2017.
Wow.
Currently, I'm the HR director, and what our Human Resources Department encompasses overall is we are responsible for compensation, benefits, maintaining all the personnel information, hiring, firing when that happens, and anything to do with the employment from the time the person is an applicant until the time that they either separate employment or they retire.
Okay, now, when I first became sheriff in Rockingham County in 1998, a long time ago, I didn't know all the persons in HR. Ben Neal,
Yes.
Ben was one of our
Yes.
persons there, and but I didn't know all the persons down there, and didn't realize all the benefits that you guys can help provide us. Like the sheriff, I have employees that work for the sheriff, but we also interface with county government. But I realized early on that if you work with HR, it also helps you to kind of stay out of some trouble zones too. You want to expand a little bit on that, on some of is labor law and stuff like that, and hiring and firing issues and stuff like that. That can get you in a lot of trouble too, can't it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I always tell folks that an applicant has just as many rights as an employee, and folks don't realize that. They think that just because that person is applying for a job that, well, we are not responsible for anything with that person yet, but that's not exactly so, because once that person puts in that application with us and we have accepted it, then there's that relationship that's already formed. And especially with the employees, we try to keep them safe. We try to make sure, like you said, that everything is going the way it should as far as their payroll, their benefits, administering that pay, the overtime rules, the compensation rules. And then, of course, folks who work for you guys at the Sheriff's Office, they have an even higher level of management with their pay, because being law enforcement, they have a different set of rules for that, and how they earn their time and a half and how they earn their overtime and comp time for the hours that they work.
And you said this with HR, is that we once you take an application, you have to make sure that you're in compliance with state and federal non-discriminatory
Yes.
hiring practices. And so y'all make sure that we are always doing it right,
Yes.
and everybody has a fair shot
Yes.
at employment in Rockingham County government. And I got to ask you a question. What is the most sought after? Is there a most sought after position or jobs in Rockingham? I mean, I know everybody wants to be a boss. I know everybody wants to be a boss. They may not realize how that might not be such a great job.
Maybe I could change your mind.
They might change their mind. But what do you think are the most sought after positions in county? Either one of you can answer those questions, or both. What do you think are the most sought after positions in Rockingham County government? What type of work?
I would say with DSS is probably our more driven jobs, like our income maintenance caseworker, our social workers. Public health is another instance. We have administration assistant positions in those departments. Those are ones that we get a lot of applications in on. And as those applications come in, we screen them individual app by app. And because we have, our guidelines and, like you were saying, making sure that as an applicant, their rights that they have fall into the minimum requirement guidelines. And I would say also we do have a lot of detention officer positions, applicants, sorry about that, that come in, and EMS and 911.
Now, have you noticed electronic billboard over in Reedsville?
Yes, I have, over by Elizabeth.
We've got a spot on the billboard, and so we every week or two we change that. But we've been running opportunities for hiring and stuff like that, for positions, stuff like this. And I also talked with the county manager about that, because I said, you know what, I don't know how many thousands of people go up Freeway Drive every day, but it's a good message, and it's you pay attention with electronics. It's so bright and just kicks it out there to you.
Okay.
But we're hoping to pick up some additional applicants to come in that way and stuff like this. So you said EMS now. EMS is a very critical area also.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cates, Rodney Cates, has gone before the commissioners, as I have, and asked for certain allowances, so incentives to get people on board here. And also, we worked hard this year with our pay situation, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
To retain, the goal of the commissioners this year was to retain our hiring and retaining our valued employees. And I think they did that. We just got an increase. We got a 4%.
We have a 4% cost of living.
And then for your merit, could be up to
3%. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we're looking at potentially a 7% increase as of July 1, moving forward.
Yes.
7% is on the table.
Yes, and that would be on top of the pay study that we just received back in September of 2022.
And I think that, and you probably have noticed this as well, that pay study and the measures that we have taken with the cost of living staying in there and the annual merit staying in there, not only has that, I do feel that it's helped us with the recruitment and retention, but it's also in that recruitment, we've had many folks who've wanted to come back who have left in the past to go to other employers for higher paying jobs. So I feel like we're completely competitive where we are right now, and I think that we're where we need to be market-wise. Now I know the goal is to stay there, and we'll have to keep that moving, but it has made a difference in that aspect.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, when we have employees sometimes are looking for other opportunities, well, we want to make sure the employees know that if you leave county government, and sometimes when you want to come back, sometimes you can't come back in the same there are some things that may occur. So I always encourage our employees to stay and think about it, because a lot of times you end up giving up a lot of benefits.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
can you expand? Can either one of you expand on that a little bit? Say, for example, I'd worked for the sheriff's office for, say, 10 years, and I decide I want to go to work for another position, and then, but if I change my mind and want to come back, what can happen? What can be the downside of that?
So many times, and more times than not, when a person does leave and they're telling us that it is for money, I always try to tell them, okay, well, it is for money, and unless you're talking about a huge increase in that salary, I need you to sit back and look at where you are with your benefits right now, because they may be at a point, like you said, 10 years, their accruals are pretty high at 10 years. So they might be earning 5 and 6 hours of vacation a pay period, and then, you know, about 4 hours of sick time per pay period. That's built up, and that person's looking at 15 days a year vacation, 15 days a year sick time. In addition to that, once they get to that point, you know, they're eligible for our longevity. Longevity is a great bonus.
It kicks in
Yes.
what year does longevity kick in?
After 6 years.
After 6 years, then you qualify for longevity. And okay,
Lots of places aren't
please
doing
some more information. Some more,
Yes.
Yeah, you're telling a lot here. But I'm the same way. Now, if I have an employee, and I've always done this, if I have an employee that wants to better themselves, a lot of times they maybe want to go to state government or federal government, something like this. I'm saying, you know, if you work good and did me a good job, I'll write you a letter of recommendation.
Sure.
And I've written a lot of letters of recommendation. And of course, a lot of the employees will come back after they've worked and they say, hey, I really appreciate it. Let me tell you what I'm doing now. You know, so I like to see people be successful. Now, we've also heard the conversation sometimes that sometimes county governments, not just Rockingham County, but some of the county governments, or even city governments, I'm sure, are kind of like training grounds. And then some people, well, in the market,
Yeah.
we're always dealing with the market issues,
Yes.
but we do the studies so we can be competitive.
Yes.
Can y'all talk a little bit about that recent study we did within the past, year and a half? Where,
About 8 months.
Yeah, and where we're at on that, comparative to the other counties surrounding us?
Okay. So the pay study was completed and it went into effect last October. I think the last numbers that I seen on that put us like at 108% where market is. The counties we were compared to nearby, we were compared to Guilford, Forsyth, Alamance, Caswell, Stokes, all your bordering counties.
Yeah, bordering county.
Because typically when we are referred to as that training ground, folks that live here or live on the outskirts, you know, they have those other areas that are in 30-minute driving distance, so it's not that far to go for that much more money. I feel like we have combated that by doing that last pay study because it's moved us to be in that area of competitive salaries. So a person may want to leave and say, hey, you know, well, I want to go to this county that's nearby. I'm only 30 minutes away and they're offering me $15,000 more in my salary. Well, they may be, because they might be doing another pay study back to back, you know, to try to keep up themselves. But I always want to remind them, are they paying your insurance? Are they going
That's
to
right.
give you your health insurance
And in
for
Rockingham
free?
County, our insurance
Yes.
is paid
We still do that.
For employees.
for the employee, 100%.
Yes.
And there's some places that don't do that.
They have really started cutting that out.
For example, some places, if you had to pay for your own insurance, what's the average of what's the run a month?
$900 just for health.
You hear that, everybody? $900 a month
Just for
And-
health.
Yeah.
But you're getting that benefit, and that's the thing I tell employees: look, remember this. You're getting this benefit for nothing.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
So that's it's a lot you give up.
is.
But and I always tell people it's not always greener on the pasture, not always
right.
greener on the other side of that fence. So you need, but we have had people that have left and come back,
Yes.
and they come back within a certain period of time where they didn't totally lose. If you want to say, for example, you were an employee that you came from city government and came here, if you're in, is it dealing with the retirement or what? Like you transfer your sick days and stuff like that. Sometimes you can transfer your sick time. Is that correct?
Yes, we do accept the sick leave from other local municipalities and other agencies within the state. What they do is they get a letter from their Human Resources Department sent over to us with that sick balance that's on there, and we accept their sick leave.
Okay. All right. We talked about there's several jobs. You said like 26 different positions that are open right now. Or the DSS generally requires for this a caseworker. Does it require a college degree?
It depends on the position
That you're
itself.
going for.
Yes. So if they're again, it could be entry level positions, would possibly be admin 1s, possibly 2s, IMC 2.
But social workers require
A
that.
social, yes, sir.
They
They would
were
require a
specific 4-year degree?
bachelor's, social work, or either a master's, depending on what that caseload is. Yes.
Okay. And like I said, health department, some of those, you may be able to work into some of those positions, but some
Yes.
require specific degrees. And stuff.
Yes, sir. We have, like your nurse position, of course, you would need to have a 2-year nursing or licensure to do that.
All right, in Rockingham County, and I haven't heard this is done away with, but if I have a second language skill,
Yes.
can I be compensated for that? And what do you have to do to be able to be compensated?
So we do have
You do a
bilingual.
test. You do a test,
You
don't
do.
you?
Yes.
You do a verbal and a written test to see if you're bilingual.
And if you're bilingual and you pass the test, you can actually receive some extra compensation for that.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other areas where you can receive compensation? Say, for example, how about if you have a 2-year 4 degree? Are there any positions that if you have that, can you hire in a little bit higher because you have a 2-year 4 degree or master's?
It's more so when we look at above the men, it's probably going to be more experience related versus just because of the degree. The job, pretty much the salary is already kind of put in place.
You have a pay scale for the
Yes, sir.
specific jobs.
We have a men to a upper range, so we have a lower range, the mid range, and the upper range.
Yeah, I guess with this
Yes.
conversation, what I would like to see, and of course I've been here going on for 25 years, but what I'd like to see is that if you come to work and you have a 2-year 4 degree, that there is some type of compensation for having that degree.
Well, we do have something, okay, say like a social worker.
Go ahead.
If a social worker comes to us, particularly a social worker, they have to have, again, that 4-year degree, a bachelor's degree or either a master's. But say we get someone that only has that bachelor's degree, but then a social worker also has to have anywhere from 1 to 3 years of experience. So there has been a program that was implemented, what's called a train against. So we will bring a social worker in that has the social worker degree, and then what they will do is they would work in that capacity as a trainee for 1 year. And at that 1-year time frame, then they will be evaluated. And 9 times out of 10, we haven't had anyone that we haven't met that quota or goal. But at the end of a year, then they're removed out of trainee status and they become a full qualified social worker. So we do have that training.
So you have a program that
place.
can lead into that. That's
Yes,
good. That's
yes,
good.
yes.
And in our side, it used to be years ago with our rookie school classes were like 6 weeks. We could hire somebody and then send them to rookie school. And then later it went into like 4 and 5 months. And a lot of law enforcement agencies got away from that. Well, we're back there again now.
Right.
So we're part of our hiring process to get some good qualified people working in law enforcement in the county is what we're doing is we're doing the backgrounds, doing all the processes, and then we're hiring and send them to rookie school. And then when they come out, they'll be an employee while they're going, non-enforcement employee, but they'll be an employee. And then once they come out of there, then they'll be sworn in, and then they'll start their jobs and begin their training process. So the county is working with me really good on that. But we had gotten away from it for several years because we had so many applicants. It used to be you have like 25 applicants going for one position. Now you got one person there has 25 opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that'll turn around. We COVID is
Yes.
blamed for everything.
Yes.
But I'm hoping that we can turn that around and get some people hired.
And sure.
I just want to, when I'm out in the public, people ask me, Sheriff, I'm interested in a job in county government. What can I do? Where do I go to? And you've alluded to it now, but Stephanie, where can you go to find out about what jobs are available, and how can you apply for that, or what's the alternative? If say if you're not, you don't have a computer and you're looking for a job, what do you do? So can you tell me both those scenarios, guys?
I can, but if I could just piggyback just for a moment, where we were talking about the trainee status and the programs and to help get individuals in.
Yes, ma'am.
I failed to mention that EMT also has a basic training class. So we're actually on
the
our
college?
second class. Stephanie?
Yes.
So we're actually on our second group that we have hired. They come in and they go to school, basic training, and then they'll get their certification, and then they'll become certified EMTs.
And come on board with the county.
Yes, sir.
right.
Okay.
Yes, so
So
I did leave
we're doing
that.
similar programs.
Yes.
We
Exactly.
didn't do it years ago, but
Yes.
now we are. But we
Yes.
do get a lot of support from Rockingham Community College.
We do.
And now with the they're constructing, but they're going to do the workforce center and stuff like this. So we got a lot of great opportunities for the future in Rockingham
Yes.
County. We got a lot of businesses coming in around our county and stuff that are looking for good qualified people to be able,
Yes.
skilled people to be able to do some of these work, different types of work. So the hiring process is
So-
if I'm looking to go and I have a computer, how do I apply?
So you would go to rockinghamcountync.gov, and that will take you to our page. And then if you would just click on the little blue square at the bottom left, and it does say county jobs, and that will give you a list of all the vacancies that we have. Someone who maybe doesn't have their own personal computer, there's always the public library. And so you could always go to the public library. You know, we have one in Reedsville, one in Eden, Madison, Marietta,
Anywhere
and
there's public-
Stoneville.
anywhere
Yes,
there's
sir.
public.
Yes, sir.
All right, but let me ask this, Steph. Let me ask this question. But let's say, for example, I don't go to the public library and I can't go online, stuff like this. How about if I just walk in? I walk into the governmental center and said, I'm looking for a job.
We have it happen
We-
all the
yes.
time.
Do I just direct them to the HR department?
Yes,
Yes.
and what we would do is we would have them come in our department and we would help them get that application filled out. I have many situations that have come up in the past where folks in our county didn't have internet access.
Yeah.
So they couldn't fill that application out online, and we've even had to print them out and they physically write it, fill it out just like we did a long time ago. It works the same. We can get that in the system for them and take care of helping them apply the way they need to be done. But there are many times where folks just show up downstairs in the lobby because we do have the bulletin board, and
Yeah.
they'll just
Yeah.
pull the job down and say, hey, how can I apply for this? They send them upstairs and we'll help them out.
Well, and that's kind of what I tell them. If you have a computer, you can go online. If you don't have a computer, come by HR.
Yep.
The county number is 342-8100.
That's right.
That's the switchboard number, and you
Yes.
can ask for HR. We've covered the hiring process, benefits. Is there an average starting pay, or I know it depends. A lot of it depends on the job specific. But do we have an average starting pay?
We have a minimum starting pay for all our positions, so it would just, depend on what that position is.
Still depend
So
on what the position is.
Yes, so like an admin one, it could be possibly 3 admin one positions in different departments, but they would all be at the same admin one starting pay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I just want to say this to our listeners, to our viewers. I want to thank Stephanie and Avis. I want to thank you guys
you.
for coming in
Yes,
here.
thank you for
A
having
lot
us.
of times people don't get to see the HR people, the people behind the scenes that help bring us the employees that helps us with the future of our organizations. County government is made up of several departments. The sheriff's office interfaces with county government. We work with HR. You guys help us to stay in compliant with the current state and federal laws. We appreciate you. I know we work together on a lot of issues and stuff like this, but I wanted people that are listening and seeing this, maybe in the vicinity of Rockingham County, to say, hey, if I'm looking for a job, here's some opportunities. And I know it wasn't long ago we had 100 openings.
Absolutely.
Yes.
A year ago.
Yeah, so you're making me feel better.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
I'm feeling better that we're filling these positions.
Yes.
But Rockingham County does have a lot to offer. And I know you guys had input during this budget process when we talked about, and when I spoke to the commissioners that night about the budget, I said, I appreciate you, the commissioners, the county manager, recognizing the employees about how important they are and how valued they are. We can't say it enough. So we want to thank all of our county employees.
Absolutely.
We want to thank you guys for helping us coordinate getting those persons in and help to keep them. And we appreciate the incentives. A lot of people don't know about these certain incentives
Yes.
that also are in your salary, that tie in with your benefit package.
Yes.
But that is a big deal. And we still have some good benefit packages. So
yes,
I
we
just
do.
want to thank you guys. Is there anything else you want to bring out or anything else you want to say? Have we covered most of it?
I think we have.
Yes.
If anybody's interested in coming to see us, like you said, they can check us out on social
Monday
media.
through Friday, 8 to 5?
Monday through
Monday
Friday,
through
8 to
Friday.
5.
Or on the internet,
Yes, sir.
24/7, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you. I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Spotlight, we'd like to thank you for coming out for our period in June. Remember, be safe out there. If you don't swim, learn how to swim. And again, we hope everybody has a great and safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.